Hey, hey, how's it going? Matilda B here. And today we're talking about distractions. What's going on in your day? What's filling your day? What are those things that are that are stealing your focus, that are stealing your productivity? Those things that are filling your day and they are hindering you from getting more done. That's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about eliminating distractions so you can get more done. Okay? So I'm just going to get my water because I've got this tickle in my throat. And let's dive right in. Right? Now, if your head is going at a million miles a minute and you have too many things to do and you cannot tell where to start, or you're getting to the end of the day and you were busy, but you have nothing to show for it, if you feel like the things that you did not move you in the direction you want to go, then let's take a look at what's going on in your day and let's see if we can eliminate some things that will start making space in your day, in your time, in your life for those things that matter most. The foundation of this brand is to help you chase your dreams without dropping the ball on those things that matter, right? We're moms. We want to be moms, but we also we want to chase our dreams, right? So how do we find that harmony between those? All right. That's what the foundation of this brand is. And today we're talking about eliminating distractions so you can get more done in your home and for your dreams. Okay. So the first thing, declutter. Number one, declutter. Seeing clutter around you adds clutter and distraction in your brain. Now, I share this space with my kids' homeschool supplies, right? And every time they come down here to get something, they leave this place feeling like an absolute mess, right? If you catch me in my stories today, I will show you the difference between this background that y'all see and the stuff that I'm looking at, because they were here last night and But I've found that every time that we don't tidy this space up, I am so hesitant to come here and do my videos, to sit here and do my work, to sit here and focus on this specific section of my life, because this space is not welcoming. So declutter, right? That's number one. Declutter, like walk through your home, walk through your house, take a room at a time, take a zone at a time, take a section of your room at a time, and just declutter. Get rid of things that are not bringing you joy. Get rid of things that you are not using. Get rid of things that are not that are no longer serving you. Get rid of all those things, and get yourself to a place where your room is no longer causing you to be a scatterbrain, right? So that's number one. Number two, use focus mode or airplane mode or do not disturb, right? When you want to sit down and work on something, turn your notifications off, right? So that you actually get to that space where your focus, so that you get to that space where you start to get your focus, right? Number three is to meal plan and meal prep, because that takes away from crowding your day, right? We all got to eat, and we all got to eat every day. And if you're like me, my kids are home all the time, they're hungry all the time, they want to eat, 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 right? But if all you're doing is cooking, 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 serving, 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 or thinking, what are we going to eat today? Then that's taking time from your day. So meal plan, right? And if you can, meal prep, right? So that means that the next time you're like, okay, they're hungry, let's have breakfast. You already know what's for breakfast, and you have already taken steps 1 to 3 out of the prep for breakfast. So you are either just doing the final touches and serving, or you're just serving, right? So meal plan, meal prep, you will gain back so much time. If you've ever attended, if you attended the challenge, I gave you the example of a box of oatmeal that says it takes 5 minutes to cook. But if you take a look at how long it actually takes you from start to finish with a bowl of oatmeal, to get a bowl of oatmeal, it is not 5 minutes, right? So if you start taking out anything that you can do beforehand, right, or you can that you can meal prep, then you start creating that time, right? So number 4, remove excessive distractions from your focus space, right? So eliminate the temptation. That could be things like your phone. That could be things like the TV, right? Maybe don't work where the TV is, or work in a different space than where the TV is, or whatever it is that distracts you. Maybe you have a book that you're reading, and it is really tempting. I love reading, and sometimes when I get sucked into a book, I really get sucked into a book. So remove those distractions, right? So that you can give yourself that space to focus. Okay. Number 5, time block. Make appointments with yourself for the things that you want to do, and then keep those appointments as if you were going to the doctor. You don't want to miss your doctor's appointment. Don't miss the appointments that you have made with your dreams. Don't miss those appointments either. Make time for them, right? Number 6, curate your circle of influence, right? Take a page from the CEO and create your board of directors. Who's in your world? Who's in your ear? Who has access to your time? Whose ideas are you entertaining? What conversations are you having? What goals are you chasing? What goals are they chasing? There's the saying, you are the sum. No, the average. I keep saying sum. It's not the sum. You are the average of your 5 closest friends. So take a look around you. What's going on in their world? What are they chasing? What are they chasing? What are they doing? What is the content of the conversations that you have with them? This does not always mean that you have to eliminate people, right? There are some people where you're like, okay, this is just not serving me. Like, this friendship, this relationship is just not serving me, and you have to let them go. But that does not mean you have to let go of absolutely everyone, right? Sometimes all it takes is adding a few new friends, opening yourself to a few more communities, right? A community like this one, where within this group, everybody here is focused on chasing their dreams without dropping the ball on their life, right? And the conversations we have here are about the strategies and the systems and the routines and the ways that we can find that harmony, right? So you've opened yourself to this community, right? And you've made space for that. That doesn't mean that you've taken time away from spending time with your sister, or spending time with your high school friends, or spending time with I don't know, your cousins and all of that, right? It just means that you have opened yourself to more people coming in, because you never know. Maybe you in this in your old circle of friends becomes the one who is leading people in a different direction, right? So maybe that's you, right? So you don't want to necessarily sever all those connections, right? But you want to be intentional about who's in your ear and who's around you and who is in your circle of influence. right? So that is number 6. Curate your circle of influence. Number 7, reevaluate your commitments, right? What are the things that you have said yes to? Are they serving you? Are they taking you where you want to go? Are they necessary and important for the success, for the progress of your family, your home, your dreams? What have you said yes to? What's filling your set? What's filling your day? What are you still holding on to that is no longer serving you? You want to start saying yes to the things that are to the most important things, right? So you want to reevaluate your commitments and see if there are things that you can take out, right? Sometimes it may not be immediately, but you know that once this commitment comes to an end, you are not going to recommit to the same thing. Maybe you're on a board and you ask yourself every time you have to attend the board that, why did I say yes? Right? Maybe you have committed to being one of the coaches for Little League. That's what it's called, right? Yeah, something like that, right? And you realize that this is not your passion. Like you're just doing this, but it's not serving you, right? Then maybe when you come to the end of that commitment, you can acknowledge that you are not going to recommit to this. If there are things that you can just drop immediately, then you can go ahead and do that, right? But you want to start reevaluating your commitments. What are the things that you have said yes to? And what are the things that you can take out of there, right? Number 8, work on one thing at a time. I was listening to, is her name Florence? I can never say her last name, but the book is called The Game of Life. It's a really old book, but I find so much value, especially in these really old books, right? But anyway, it's a really, really old book and it's called The Game of Life and it's written by a lady called Florence something. So she says, this is about working on one thing at a time. Ideas will come, right? But you have to acknowledge that every idea has its time and that when the time is right, that idea will come again, right? So you have to trust that. And that way, you can focus on what you're working on right now, right? Because you can be working on something right now and then you have this really good idea. Like I am in a mastermind and every time I sit in there, I listen to what everybody else is doing and I'm like, oh, that would be so awesome. Oh, I would love to do that. Oh, that would be so awesome. I would love to do that. But reevaluating the way that I experienced that when I was like within the first 3 months of being in that mastermind and the way that I evaluate those ideas now, 9 months in, is that when you start to understand that your good ideas will come in their time, right? So in the first 3 months before I trusted the process, every time I would hear something new, I would be scrambling and I'm like, oh, that is such a good idea. I can put that together in a week. And you can never put it together in a week, but you have let go of the thing that you were working on last week. And so you have a ton of things that you have started, but you haven't finished a single one. And yet, if you trust the process and you say, you know what, these good ideas will come in their time. They will come in their season, right? They come right now and they're like, hey, I'm over here. And then they can sit in the waiting room, right? Just like when you go to the doctor, right? He doesn't see all of you when you get there. Or she doesn't see all of you when you get there, right? If you get there and you're a little early for your appointment, you sit in the waiting room and they focus on the person that they're working with at that time, the person that they're talking to at that time. Same thing with your ideas, right? You have lots of good ideas. You're creative. You are you're visionary, right? You have a lot of good ideas, but allow those ideas to sit in the waiting room and work on the one that you're working on right now. Number 9, self-discipline. I have one of my bracelets actually says discipline because that is something that I am working on. And that is when you have made a commitment, actually showing up, right? I talked about time blocking and I said make appointments with yourself, right? Now, the discipline is actually showing up for those things, right? When you say, I am going to sit down in this block and I am going to do this work, when that block comes, sit down and do that work, okay? So get yourself some self-discipline. The art of sticking to commitments when the newness and that high feeling is no longer there, right? Like when you start something, when you start a project, you're so excited because everything is you have so many big ideas on the end product, but there's this messy middle where you have to work on your project until you get to that end result. And that is where motivation dies down, right? And then it becomes the grind. And in that space, that's where self-discipline needs to kick in. That's where you need to start saying, hey, I made this commitment. I will see it through, right? And then the last one is set up your space with supports, right? And what I mean by supports is if you have a song that gets you in the mood, listen to some music, right? If you have a vision board that helps remind you of why you're doing the work that you're doing, do that. I have this picture right here. I don't know if you can see it right there. And it's a picture of my girls not facing the camera, right? We were in an orchard and they were standing at the end of a lane and they were looking down to the end of the lane. But what that picture means to me is my girls looking at their future, right? And I'm standing behind them and I'm looking at their future. And when we took this photo, it was in the winter, just at the end of winter. So before the trees had, sprouted, right? So it's a really barren looking photo, right? And I look at that photo and I'm like, what are the things that I can do today so that my daughter's future is not barren, right? That is one of the things that drives me, right? And so my space has this reminder that when I sit here, that is why I'm doing this, right? That is one of the reasons why I'm doing this, right? So that is a way that you can set up your space. If you have scents that comfort you or motivate you, right? Things that help you get doing, that get you taking action, do that, right? Set up your space so that it is rewarding to do your work in there, but also it is supportive of you doing your work in there. Okay? So those are my tips for you. Until next time, have a good one.